For others, the distress will persist, but they will find healthy ways to cope. Some survivors will even grow stronger and wiser because of their trauma. These survivors may report that their tragedy has helped them to appreciate life more, to become closer to family and friends, to find greater meaning, and sometimes to embark on a new mission in life. In the words of Elizabeth S. Lucas, a protege of the neurologist, psychiatrist, and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl, the forces of fate that bear down on man and threaten to break him also have the capacity to ennoble him. Resilience after 9/11. On the clear, balmy morning of September 11, 2001, 45-year-old Jimmy Dunn was playing golf in New York's suburban Westchester County, looking forward to qualifying for the U.S. Mid-Amateur Championship tournament. Along with the other golfers, he was stunned to learn that planes had crashed into the World Trade Center. Dunn's shock was intensified by the fact that his own company, the financial services firm Sandler O'Neill, was located at 2 World Trade Center, the South Tower. As details of the damage became available, his fears were confirmed. The plane that struck the South Tower burst into flames on the 78th through 84th floors, trapping hundreds on the floors above. Sandler O'Neill was on the 104th floor. While Dunn watched television in disbelief, thousands of employees, visitors, police, firefighters, emergency medical personnel, and concerned bystanders were fighting to save lives while they struggled to understand what was happening. One Sandler O'Neill survivor, Karen Fishman, had arrived at her office in the South Tower about 8:45 that morning, moments before the first plane struck the North Tower and sent a massive blinding ball of flame shooting through the air outside her office window. Shaking, she got up from her desk, stepped out into the hallway, and quickly found herself headed for the stairs with 2 colleagues who had announced, "We're getting the hell out of here." "I don't know why I left," Fishman said later. "I don't know that it was a conscious decision. It was instinct. So much depended on who you saw right at that moment." Several other Sandler O'Neill employees left, but others stayed in the office and made phone calls, assuring family members and business associates that they were all right. Still, the horrors in the neighboring building had everyone so upset that CEO Herman Sandler told his workforce, "Whoever wants to leave can leave." Fishman had reached the 64th floor when she heard an announcement that only the North Tower was affected and there was no need to evacuate the South Tower. But by then the stairwell was crowded, and turning back would have meant going against the tide of people headed down. So she continued. Fishman was on the 62nd floor at 9:03 when United Airlines Flight 175 crashed into the South Tower. 42 stories above her, a Sandler O'Neill assistant was on the phone with her husband. "Oh my God," were the last words he heard her say. A traitor called his wife. "There is smoke everywhere. People are dying all around me." Survivors described how the building shook and twisted when the plane struck, causing paneling, ductwork, and electrical wires to fall out of the walls and ceilings. The lights went out, and the building sprinkler system activated in some areas, sending cascades of water down the pitch-dark stairwells as people groped their way down. Of course, neither Karen Fishman nor anyone else knew that the building was about to collapse. In a sense, this was fortunate, for the evacuation was generally orderly and unhurried. Some even commented later that they had paced themselves, aiming to lessen the risk of having to walk down dozens of flights with a sprained ankle. Karen Fishman and another Sandler O'Neill employee, Mark Fitzgibbon, had reached street level and were making their way uptown at 9:59 when the South Tower collapsed. They were far enough away from the burning towers that the surrounding skyscrapers partially obscured their view. Like many who witnessed the event, they had no idea that the entire building was gone. They thought that they were seeing smoke from an explosion or a collapse affecting only the floors above the fire line. Fitzgibbon called to Karen, "Look, the top of our building is gone." But she didn't look back. A huge wave of ash and dust burst from the ruins and covered the area like a snowfall. Stunned survivors fled by themselves or in groups, some running, some walking purposefully, others wandering as if in a fog. By 10:28, when One World Trade Center and the adjoining Marriott Hotel collapsed, news organizations had begun to report a possible terrorist connection, and other landmark buildings such as the United Nations were evacuated. Not